Hello, this is Mike. NoStressMike.com. Don't want to. I know I've told this story before, but I think it's been a long time ago. And what it is now, I don't get so many silly comments like I used to. Before, I used to get a lot of them, and I think it's because I get back at them, and it it makes people think twice before they make silly comments. And when I'm talking about silly, I'm really being YouTube nice. And this is why I want to tell this story. Is when I came back from Vietnam, I was 19 years old, and I mean, you could look at me and tell that I was military, just with the idea of I kept my hair really short, and even now I keep it kind of short. And the reason is you don't want people to be able to grab a hold of your hair. And I'm not going to go into detail about what that means in combat, but that's basically why you don't have long hair, at least in combat. And so at that time, people would ridicule you, and they'd call you names, and they were really nasty. I never had anybody spit on me. Many stories about that, but I never had that problem. Then again, you got to remember, I'm an old country boy, and so we're kind of slow on getting violent. And but the the funny thing is, we did have to take crap from people, and normally it's kind of like these protesters are now. You know, they get in your face, and you know, there's a whole bunch of them. They get in your face, and they say nasty things and stuff like that. And we were doing that, and it was, and they would do it when we're by ourselves. They don't do it when there's a group of military people. That's not a good time to go give them a bunch of shit, especially if they're Vietnam vets. So that's the way it was back in those days. And the funny thing was, this is the funny part. One time, like I say, we've had restaurants in our family all this time, and so restaurant work's hard work. And but we had a basketball goal set up in back, and so then in between the hard work, we'd go out and play basketball. And so I was out there playing basketball, and some guy was walking down the alley. And this is a small town, so everybody knows everything about everybody. So he was walking down the alley, and he's cussing me, and you know, that baby killer crap, you know, saying all these foul, nasty things. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know any better. Now I don't know if there was baby killers. I don't know. I was in the jungles. I spent my 13 months in living in the jungle. I never saw villages. I didn't. No, I was up north, and so now maybe his comments applied to somebody, but they didn't apply to me. But I'm nice, and so he's over here cussing me, and then he'd stand there, and then you know get real nasty, and so then I just went inside, just tried to ignore him. You know, I mean, I had a belly full of violence, and So I went inside the restaurant and started finding some work to do. And then just a few minutes later, the telephone rings. I, I answered it, and this guy commenced cussing me and saying all the same stuff the guy was saying out in the alley. So, okay, so he started this crap, and what made it worse than anything, when he's out here and he's by himself. So he's out here by himself, giving me shit. I'm by myself. I can halfway understand his disapproval, even though it really wasn't aimed at me, but his big mouth was still irritating, but I didn't hurt him. But when he calls, and the guy's saying the same words, saying the same thing, and then I said, wait a minute, just hang on, keep that thought in mind, I'll be right with you. And then I set the phone down, and I knew he had to be less than a block. Just a few yards from the back part of the restaurant. So I started running down the street, and there's only one street. So I'm running down the street, and then I hear this guy. He had his window open, and you can hear him. That's I gotta remember this. Not everybody had air conditioning way back then, and so then I hear him saying, "You son of a bitch, pick up that damn phone!" And boy, he is really opening up on me. He's really ripping me apart. And my phone, like I say, is just sitting on the counter, and so then he's just screaming and hollering. I ran up there, I kicked his front door down, and he was standing there. There was a couch between us. After I kicked his front door down, this is in his house. So then I kicked his front door down, and I jumped over the couch. I got my hands on him, and I commenced to educating him about saying things without being in somebody's face. Because you can disagree with me, you can disagree with anybody, that's no big deal. But you're really more manly, and it's more believable when you face that person. And you disagree with them to their face. And you say why. You understand why. This is why I'm calling you a son of a bitch. And then you start saying it. And if the guy's got a disagreement with that, then yes. You two will work it out somewhere or another. But then you say why, and then the real man will be embarrassed because he knows he was out of line, and so that's not a good thing. So, but the thing that's funny is these comments on YouTube is basically the same thing. These are prank calls. In the old days we couldn't trace the telephone call, so people could call and say anything they want to and just laugh and put the phone down, but you couldn't trace them. And now they can trace them, so they can't do that anymore. But they can do it on the internet, and this is why you have a lot of people on the internet. Well, in my case, there's a lot of people who don't even think I'm a real person. so they think, well, he's just making this stuff up. But like I say, so I don't respect people when, well, you can disagree with me. You can say this bad stuff, and first thing I'll do is go to your channel, and then because that's the only way you can track anybody, and so I'll go to your channel, and like I say, you might be someone that's more knowledgeable about this subject that I'm talking about. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are more knowledgeable than I am on the subject that I'm talking about. But normally I'm just talking about the way I take things and the way I deal with it. I'm not saying that should be everybody's way of doing it, but this is what my thoughts are. And so there are ways, and this is what I do. I put their feet to the fire. Just go to your channel. I find out, oh, well, this person is really knowledgeable. Well, then I'll start asking them questions because, hey, one thing I haven't figured out is how to make comments on somebody's channel. So if you come and make a comment on my channel, then now we can talk back and forth. And if it looks like, man, you got some good ideas, I want to know more, I'll be asking questions. Maybe you'll make some more videos. But if you don't make videos, you have a channel that there's no content. What do they say? Empty of content. And that's what I tell them. I went to your channel, and first I say I respect people that that are made up of content and substance, because in other words they have experience, they've done things. I respect that. And then, but if I go to your channel and you have empty of content and you think you can come over and give me shit, it doesn't work that way. But like I say, I'll go on and we'll mix words, and then eventually I'll block them. That's why I had to learn how to block. And otherwise, I used to think, well, everybody's opinions, they need to be shared. But like I say, there's some people just downright silly, and I don't want you. My reading is very difficult, so I don't like wasting my time reading junk stuff. So I don't. If it's a comment you're not going to get anything out of it, I'll more than likely remove it and block that person that's doing it. But anyway, you can see I'm much nicer now than what I used to be. But that was back when you're not quite right. But now I'm good. This is Mike. No stress Mike.com.